at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. I to command this important press conference. Inspector General Coleman, the media.
Good afternoon, fellow Liberians, members of the press, representatives of the diplomatic community of person, partners in justice. We gather today under solemn circumstances. The Liberia National Police acknowledged the death of Toni Jackson, Innocentia Kumalo known as Toni, a South African national. We extend our deepest condolences to her family, loved ones, and the people of South Africa. This is a moment that demands not only empathy, but clarity, discipline, and fidelity to the rule of law. From the moment this matter was brought to the attention of the Liberia National Police, we initiated a multidisciplinary investigation. This investigation was conducted by the Crime Against Person Unit, the Forensic Section, and it was done in coordination with medical authorities and the Monrovia County Coroner's Office. Every step taken has been guided by evidence, professional standards, and the legal framework of the Republic of Liberia. The key findings in this investigation are as follows. The investigation has established a body of evidence that cannot be ignored. Number one, we established that there was a pattern of prior violence. There's credible and corroborated evidence indicating that the victim was subjected to repeated physical violence over time, which is supported by witness account, photographic evidence, and documented communication, which are copyrighted, time-stamped. First, caused a backward fall resulting in hair trauma, including contusion, laceration, and hemorrhage. This is not a random or isolated injury, as it is linked to a chain of previous traumatic occurrences. 5, we look at neglect and duty of care. Evidence further establishes that the victim had a known medical vulnerability which occasionally resulted in seizures. Yet, the suspect continued to supply the stimulant. The victim was left alone in a locked environment without supervision. This constitutes a serious breach of duty of care with foreseeable risk to human life. 6, we'll look at the post-incident conduct. The investigation also identified failure to promptly inform law enforcement, and there were indicators that the scene was altered or tampered with before the police even had access to the scene. These actions are legally significant and they form part of the evidentiary records. The current status, a full autopsy report, will give further clarification on the extent of internal injuries, while the toxicology analysis is ongoing and expected to be done within 1 to 2 weeks, or we could get it earlier. Based on the totality of evidence, the Liberia National Police has formally charged Mr. Samuel P. Jackson with manslaughter, negligent homicide, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment of another person in violation of Chapter 14, Subchapters A and B, Sections 2, 3, 20, and 23 of the revised Penal Code of the Republic of Liberia. The matter will be immediately forwarded to court for adjudication. Now, let me give our position, and I'll be clear. The Liberia National Police does not determine guilt. We do not substitute public opinion for judicial process. We act when the evidence meets legal threshold. The accused, Mr. Jackson, remains presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This case speaks to a broader issue. As a society that we must confront it. Violence within private spaces is not beyond the reach of the law. Vulnerability does not diminish rights. It heightens protection, especially under the law. Neglect, when it leads to harm or death, like in this case, there's criminal responsibility. The Liberia National Police assures the government and the people of South Africa the family of the deceased, and the Liberian public that this case has been handled with professional integrity, transparency, and respect for international standards of investigation. In closing, I would like to say this. Justice requires discipline. It requires that we speak carefully, act lawfully, and allow the court to do its work. The evidence has now been placed where it belongs, before the judiciary. We urge all parties to exercise restraint and let the jury decide. Let justice take its course. I will stop here, and before we go to question, to all the real ID and law and order trained investigators, all the things that you have seen on your TV, we get so here. So when we do investigation, we got to take our time and make sure we dot our I's and cross our T's. This thing, when you accusing somebody of such a crime, you have to make sure you do proper investigation. And it's sad that, the speed that everybody will expect us to take in this investigation is just not possible. So we want to thank the public. We want to thank those who beat us and was demanding for immediate responses this is where we are. And at this point in time, let me just throw a little light on some accusations out there. There's this trending Gregory Coleman will kill me from Representative Foucault. At no point in time have the Liberia National Police, through the Inspector General Police, ever threatened anyone to kill them. I would encourage, like I did earlier, Representative Foucault, to please use the rule of law. Stop yelling on social media. It cannot solve your problem. They're not code of competent jurisdiction. And file a complaint, a formal complaint. I also encourage him that he should attach the pieces of evidence that he claims he had with indicating me threatening his life and that of his family. We don't take lives here. We protect lives. That's what we do. And I remain committed to it and respecting the rule of law. Thank you all. At this point in time, we'll take some questions.
My name is Weah, and I report for ELBC. Thank you for the update. I did hear you mention about toxicology, that of which I'm concerned about. And within your updates, you also mentioned that the defendant, Samuel Jackson, has been charged. And with the results of the toxicology will be in within a week or two. Now the case, obviously we have to go to court based on your charge. So why extend that result to 1 or 2 weeks? Because a lot of people may wonder, after leaving the police station and coming back 1 or 2 weeks.
No, they're coming back to us, Fabian.
To give updates. So why?
No, so they're coming back to us based on everything we know. So there's multiple layers of the investigation. The first thing, we go there first, the coroner look at the body to see if the body got any issue to do with foul play. That's where it starts from first. If they believe it has something to do with foul play, then sometimes we recommend that we look further. Like in this case, when they look at the body physically, they were able to make a determination as to that there was some tampering and stuff done. That was how we went into an autopsy. The autopsy has been completed. There's only further analysis that's ongoing now, which is the toxicology to look at all the chemicals and stuff that are in the body. If this was related to something that poisoned, but it's physical evidence, physical bruises all over the person, and based on the initial report, we have sufficient evidence to be able to charge with all of the charges that we have right now. Even the toxicology count, it is not changing the charges that we have right now. It could just give us more information as to what we could further understand. It would tell us the extent of the internal injuries caused by what we have physically seen outside. So the opening and now dissecting the brain, they're doing this other one, that report will only tell us the extent to whatever happened inside. But the physical one that we can see is enough for all the charge, but the charge will gain.
Closing argument followed by DM News.
Okay, Mr. Aji, my name is Mine D. Tobin. I report for the closing argument. In your explanation, you did mention some of the injuries, some of the bruises that were on her body. Do you care to tell Liberian people, if from your investigation, who were found guilty within your investigation? And a follow-up, Liberians are now concerned with the autopsy report. Are there going to be any publication or anything to Liberian people from the autopsy?
So, I just mentioned here, we do not guilt, establishing guilt, that are in our place. All we do, we investigate, we provide evidence, we send it to the court establish who's guilty or not. Mr. Jackson remains presumed innocent until proven guilty by a court or competent jurisdiction. So that particular one will be established at the court. As far as the concerns that people have about the autopsy and everything, this autopsy was conducted by an approved pathologist by the government of the Republic of Liberia through the Medical and Dental Council, which was recommended by the Ministry of Justice. So when they go find somebody from in the corner to say they can't do autopsy for us, that the one the government approved, and he did it in the presence of the investigators, in the presence of all the parties that are required by law to be present for such a procedure to be conducted. What we have so far, so good. Like I said, this investigation is based on good evidence and good evidence only. We didn't rush to say, oh, let them find a charge and do it. We have to take our time and carefully exhaust all avenues before we reach to where we are today. And I am 100% convinced. I'm proud of the investigators, and I am happy that things and times are changing. I see improvement in our service delivery and how we now take our time to look into these cases and go the extra mile to make sure that when someone is charged, definitely that charge fits whatever crime that has been committed. And in this case, it definitely fits.
GNUs and Spoon.
So thank you. Mr. Aji, I'm Uriah's fifth impound, and of course I report for DNS Liberia.
Okay.
During the time of the autopsy prior to that, I do believe there was a formal communication written to the team of lawyers representing Mr.
By the team of lawyers.
By the team of lawyers representing. No, to the team of lawyers, he gave them a prior notice about the autopsy.
Okay, to them. Okay.
Yeah, to them on the body. And prior to that, there was a communication written to the office of the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police by the team of lawyers representing Mr. Jackson that basically they weren't given enough time to fully scrutinize the credential of the pathologist by them. And also they were given the invitation of very short notice. And the autopsy, I do believe the autopsy was conducted without a representation of Mr. Jackson. Now, it is concerning. One might say that...
and let me just answer where you are. The law does not mandate the presence of the suspect at the autopsy. No, the law. I'm talking about a lawyer. The lawyer, I know that. I only know what the law says. If the law had required that they say the suspect representative must be there before they do others say they're going to be there, but the law didn't require it. So whether they were present, they were not present, we have not violated the law. Now, we're clear here. I told you, as per the requirements of the law, what was required for an autopsy to be conducted, those conditions were met. I saw the letter. I saw the letter that went all around back and forth. I saw the road to the Ministry of Justice. But we violated the law. You have to go there, go read it, take your time, but look at it. If you see violation, come out of me.
So they were saying that they will hire their own independent pathologist to conduct an autopsy on the body. Why are you saying to that?
I got no comment on it. The Ministry of Justice made a determination. My fire out to investigate that anyway.
Okay.
Spoon.
Yeah, thank you very much, IG and Nelson Collet, report for Spoon TV. I have two questions. The first one has to do with the crime scene. Did the investigation uncover at any step of the way that the crime scene was tampered with? And then my second question has to do with the point in your statement where you said the investigation uncovered that the deceased had a medical condition that caused seizure, but the accused, now in the case of Mr. Sam Jackson, continuously supplied her with stimulant. What exactly was that stimulant? You care to further elaborate on that aspect?
Good question. At least this time you redeem Spoon. Yeah. So, in the case of the crime scene, before we got there, like I said in the statement, the crime scene was altered. Mr. Jackson, in his statement, indicated to us that he met her lying in a pool of blood. When these things happen, the first thing you do, you try to inform law enforcement. In this case, even if you had to rush to the hospital, the place remains like that. Law enforcement come to take a look. When we got there, they had scrubbed the entire scene. Not one trace of blood. Wash all the bed sheets. Wash all the clothes. Everything clean. So that one that not there, tempering, that damaging, contaminating the entire crime scene. We had to go there, bring all the people who entered that room, ask them whether you say the blood, what you say the blood was, and then to try to recreate that scene, look at the position we saw the body, and make an informed decision from there. So yes, it was tampered with. The scene was completely contaminated when we got there. The second question has to do with the stimulants. As part of the investigation, medical report indicates that the victim had been suffering from alcohol withdrawal seizures. As such, providing the alcohol was the stimulant connected to that particular condition. So when you provide, if you know that this person is having this condition and you continue to provide it and leave them unsupervised as well, you're further endangering their life. And that's why I said in the statement that the duty of care, you are the husband. If you recognize your partner has a deficiency, you step up to be able to provide that kind of support and care that is needed. In this case, the investigation reveals that there was a complete neglect, and as a matter of fact, facilitation to accelerate those very conditions. And that is why it was easy to make accusations and say, oh, that seizure and stuff back and forth. I mean, I will stop there for now, and we can take another question.
Final question from OKFM.
Okay, my name is Watson Richards. Actually, has Mr. Jackson been forwarded to court?
Mr. Jackson will be immediately forwarded to court. Immediately. What time is it? The court still open? Yeah. I mean, once we can get him to the court on time, he will make the court today. We got no intention, and we can spare for put to sleep. So we'll make sure we get him over there. Any other question?
Very final question from 2FM.
Yeah. Actually, my name is Peter Tobe.
Hey, Peter Tobe.
I work for the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. Well, I'm concerned about the evidence because the evidence is the one the state prosecutor rely on to prove a prima facie case. Now, while it is true that the court will decide on the credibility of the evidence, but deep down into your heart, do you think the evidence that you people have gathered is strong enough to give a conviction when the matter moves for litigation?
So, Tobe, you've been around the court for long, you my man, you've been coming here back and forth. That not matter of the heart. That not matter of the heart, what I think or believe in my heart, based on the pieces of evidence collected and subsequently analyzed. We have sufficient reason to believe that the charges levied against Mr. Jackson can be substantiated when it gets to the court. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for coming.